So my research is about addiction. So I focus on one topic which is online game addiction among students. So abstract. This research is about the effects of online game addiction on students. It aims at investigating the impact that online games have on students. As most of the previous researchers in this area conducted a quantitative research, I decided to do a qualitative research. Chapter 1 Introduction. Background. Nowadays, more and more people are starting to use the internet. At the same time, online have become extremely popular among the young generation, thus leading to the proliferation of online game addiction on global platforms. According to recent researches, online gaming has become one of the most addictive internet activities. Based on established, the thesis is interested in discovering reasons behind why young people start to play online games as well as how playing such games affects the daily lives and activities of them. Aim of the study. The purpose of this study is to formulate a theory as to what causes video games addiction among students. The overall goal is to determine what causes students to become addicted to computer games while trying to understand more about the social norms and daily habits of computer game addicts. Central concepts and definitions. Online games. In order to adequately define the terms online game, has first to be broken down into its basic components online and game. At this very basic situation, the term online can be referred to any activity that is taking place via use of the internet. Game, on the other hand, is defined as an activity or pastime that generates amusement. So next is massive multiplayer online games or MMOG. MMOG are multiple player online games. The games are different from regular online games as they have the technological capacity to host hundreds of players on the same game in one persistent world. Game addiction. In the research on computer game addiction, they define game addiction on the basis of the definition used by the Center of Addiction and Mental Health base. The center defines addiction as a psychological or physical dependence on something. Individual with the game addiction can thus be said to have a psychological dependence on massive multiplayer online games, or to exhibit excessive or compulsive use of computer and video games. Chapter 2 Earlier Research. In order to adequately accomplish the research purpose, I decide I decided to investigate the number and the nature of impacts in that online games might have an influence on the students. To do this, I searched for scientific journals, reports, and doctorate papers related to my topic. The information I've gathered from the research conducted, the findings is presented below. So, online gaming. What causes addiction among adolescents? The aim of the study on why adolescents are addicted to online gaming was to investigate the psychological problems of addicts among adolescents and to discover the motivation, both conscious and unconscious, of online game addicts. During the research, I discovered that most of the adolescents they interviewed stated that online gaming had become the main focus on their lives and that life would become dark without these games. From this point of view, I can channel my investigation to focus on why young people become addicted to online games. Further literature In this area revealed an emotional point of view that aimed at explaining reasons. According to my resources, everyone needs to express their feelings and thoughts. As such, when a person cannot express himself or herself adequately, some young people are naturally too shy to talk to strangers face to face in reality. But when surfing the internet or playing games, they can be whoever they want to be. As such, they can chat with the people they met online without feeling any of regular social pressure that comes with physical meetings. Internet addiction, symptoms, and evaluation. Internet addiction is a relatively new phenomenon in which social workers and psychologists are unaware of and are thus unprepared to treat at present. Points out that some of main symptoms of internet and online game addiction, including the decrease in social friend network and face-to-face interaction with others, become infrequent while the number of friends in the virtual world exponentially increases. So, method. Chapter 3, Method. Philosophy of Science. My position of philosophy of science is hermeneutic. Brinkman mentioned that there are many kinds of philosophies of science, but hermeneutic became first priority. Interpretation of meaning is the central theme from a hermeneutic viewpoint, and emphasis is put of the interpreter's foreknowledge of the text subject matter. Design and data gathering. I choose to conduct a qualitative research with the method of interviews in the research. Snowball sampling was used to find appropriate interviewees, which means that the researchers identify a few people with the characteristics the researchers required. Limitations of the study. During the investigation, I only interviewed students who are online at the time due to limitation of study area and time. I did not have chance to meet and interview students due to pandemic quarantine. Furthermore, it is difficult for me to identify how many students in are addicted. In addition, there is also some problem on my internet connection, therefore we cannot understand quite well each other for every interview when starting the interviews. Results. In this chapter, I'm going to present the results of the interviews and my analysis. It is divided into two themes. The first theme deals with the causes of online game addictions based on the qualitative data that was gathered during the interview process, and the second deals with the implications of MMOG game addiction. Therefore, we divided the second theme in four sub-themes: health, relationship with family and friends, and school. To make the analysis clear, the interview people have been named IPA to IPD. Interviewed person A, interviewed person B, and so on. So, reasons of addiction. The first theme I went through with them is the reason. How the students become addicted to the online games according to the answers I've got from four interviewees. I conclude and infer several possible reasons of online gaming addiction. Firstly, all of my interviewees spend more time to mention the feelings and pleasure which the game provided for them. As similar as IPC said that I have never felt such satisfied and happy before in doing other things. So gradually, I have no interest in other activities or schoolwork. Pursuing this kind of euphoria, teenagers cannot control themselves but keep playing the games. Or the interviewees admitted that euphoria computer games bring exciting and interest to them. In addition, when I pay all the attention to the games, I will forget the failure of examination and forget a lot of for pressures and problems, IPB said. In the same way, the interviewees in the study said that they felt more interesting and more happy in virtual world and tried to avoid and escape problems in out-game life when playing games. And a certain degree of addiction for them mainly relied on games, an invisible and happy world. However, after immersing the playing games for some time, they would meet more and more problems that were coming up due to addiction of online games, which may lead them to have stringer willing to avoid these problems. For the second reason, I believe it owes to the online games themselves. Facebook games are boring. You just sit there and click. But CS can be more exciting and you sit there playing with your friends. IPA mentioned. It is no doubt that the games are designed to be attractive and addictive. The purpose of designing the games is to make game players never want to stop playing. Thus, they are looking for ways to make their games more attractive and interesting so the players will spend lot of time and money in the games. From what he said, we cannot we can see that not only her own willingness to win, but also the game itself is designed addictive, which means they attract people keep playing without stop by providing gorgeous scenes, challenging, challenging stages, upgrading systems, role-playing, rewarding strategy, and so on. Thirdly, the reason of being addictive to the players with computer games could be their friend networks. All the four interviewees said that many of their closest friends are actively playing games and quite active. In this case, we believe that influence by their friends is also an important reason for online games addiction. The first time I played computer online game is because one of my best friends strongly suggests me playing it. IPC said. Curiosity is the human instincts for everyone. If the friends around them play the games and extensively talk about it, it is easily to make people become curious about in the game and hope to try it. Fourthly, the interviewers who immersed the online game had poor and inadequate social communication and limited number of friends. I don't go out much more anymore. I used to go out to play with my friends when I was younger. I want to start going out with friends again, but it's hard because most of them have new friends. It's hard to find new friends as I'm a not very social person, said by IPB. In investigation, these interviewers mentioned that they sometimes prefer to meet friends who would not like to play online games. However, their friends were hardly to play with them because they often have their own close friends. Poor or inadequate social communication could be the main reason without more close friends for the interviewees. Further, the online games are easily to become the friends of interviewees since they have the similar interesting and purpose. Otherwise, the game players may feel alone and boring. Impact on daily lives of computer game addicts. The results showed the congruence on the basis of impact on the health of game players, and the first aspect is eating habits for students. They noted a downturn in their health habits with both sides and admitted an increase in the intake of unhealthy junk food as well as eliminated meal times from their schedule in order to spend more time gaming as a direct result of their gaming addiction. It should be not noted from the nature of answer The participants gave that both students categories formerly enjoy healthy eating habits that were, however, deteriorated by the start of their gaming addiction. The second theme we have carried our study into is the relationship with friends. Though our interviewees we found their social network have changed as a result of being addicted, and their networks of friends become small. The third theme of my research regarding the social impact of online game addiction deals with its effects on the relationship with family members. One of the common themes that were evident in this result was secrecy. The interviewees' parents either did not know that their child were addicts or that they even played these online games at all. The fourth theme I have created is study habits. The results revealed that all of the respondents have faced negative consequences in their study habits as a direct result of their online game playing. Chapter 5 Discussion Summary of the results in connection to the research questions. The main method chosen to investigate the problem was through interviewing students. Before delving into the study, qualitative research on similar research was conducted, and from this basis, two research questions were developed. Both of my questions have essentially been proved pertinent by the results. For instance, in the case of the causes of online game addiction among students, it is clearly evident from the research that the main proponent that leading many students into this addiction is losing self-control and social isolation. On the basis of my results, there are two levels of which students can be categorized who get addicted to MMOGs. The main attraction is that their friends are playing the same games on the side of students. The main motivator is to find a place to be belonging with. So methodological discussion. I have chosen to do a qualitative research as I said earlier. And the method I've used is to interview most previous researches in this field were quantitative one. The reason why I choose qualitative research instead of quantitative is because I want to know my interviewees and get a proper insight in their lives through the qualitative research, which would be impossible otherwise if I do a quantitative research. And I believe my result would been come up to be the same with the quantitative research. So that's all. Thank you.